Yes, everyone, what's going on? My name is Stephen Howson. This is Tactical Preview for Manchester United against Wolves. And as the title says, can't lose again, can we? Can't make it free on the bounce against Wolverhampton Wanderers. Of all the places that you can go and get on a bit of a losing streak, you don't expect it to be Wolverhampton Wanderers that are going to cause us so much trouble. But they have been a bit of a bogey team for us of late. And Nuno Espirito Santos has got them playing some absolutely fantastic football. I like the way they set up. I like the way they go for it. Fantastic against the top six teams. Terrible against the bottom teams. Hopefully, we can start to turn that around a little bit for them. And by putting in a good result. This coming so soon after the Chelsea game is probably good for us because I think United got a lot of unfair criticism. Apparently Chelsea dominated the game, dominated possession, learn the difference. United got a lot of unfair criticism, I think. The only team that I know that can win 4-0 and get criticised for it. Ridiculous. But we did get a lot of criticism after Chelsea, so the best way to follow that on is follow up with another tough game. Not someone where you go, well, of course you beat Norwich or someone equally as shit, but a team that's renowned for doing well against the top six, renowned for doing well at home against the top six, and has actually improved on what they did in terms of they've had a couple of really astute buys. So this represents an excellent test. Not only does it represent an excellent test anyway, but the fact that we've been so poor at Wolves, again, proves it's a fantastic test for us. So talk a little bit about what Ollie's had to say, some team news and stuff like that before we get into the tactics side of things. So on the change in attitude, he says, I've been looking at the games last season to see if there's anything we could do differently this time. But our form, our attitude, and the mood after the win is so great, we go into the game confident, which you can't fault. On another Wolves fixture, he says, you always go into any game positive with the right intention, thinking that you're going to win again. And the last two visits there, I feel like I'm going home. So I've been there so often lately. They were tough games, and Wolves are a hard team to break down. I think that might give us a bit of an inkling into the team, but we'll see. And he says, Alexis is several weeks behind the rest of the squad, so I wouldn't expect to see him just yet. But he says he's part of our squad and he's a very, very good player. He's had 3 weeks now, so he's a few weeks behind the rest, but he's very close to being part of it. We expect him to come good at this club. He's quality. So let's talk about Wolves a little bit. What we're expecting, who do we think is going to be the dangerous man, all that sort of good stuff. Now, they're going to set up in a 3-4-2-1 or a 3-5-2 formation. They do like that three at the back. They like to set the tempo of their play by building from the back against most sides. They do like to let the defence have it and then move it into midfield, where you're going to find someone like Neves is going to try and dictate both the tempo and the whole way they're going to attack. The back three is going to be comprised of Bolly, Bennett as a two wide centre halves with Conor Cody in the centre as their third centre half. Positionally, they are quite spread out. They are going to occupy the full width of the pitch as it extends, and it gives them the ability to find passing lanes, and it gives them the ability to be comfortable in possession because they're not crowded, they're not on top of each other, and this is the platform which Espirito Santo likes to build from in conjunction with what is a very strong midfield. Dendoncker, Moutinho and Neves could be the midfield three for any team from 1 to 20 in the Premier League. It's absolutely fantastic. Dangerous against the top sides because of how compact they are, and they are very effective on the counter-attack, which is something that I think we're going to have to look out for. When they defend, they like to use Moutinho in the 10 role, paired with either Jimenez or Jota as their striking partnerships, or they go with two inside forwards and a striker. That'll be if they go with the 3-4-1-2. 3-4-1-2. In possession, the wing-backs are going to be massively key for them, and that's also where I think that United can actually hurt them, but we'll get to that when we talk about United's strengths in a minute. The wing-backs play a very key role. Not only do they serve as passing options for the defenders as they look to bring it out from midfield, but they're also encouraged to drift in and create overloads in the half spaces whenever they see fit. Somebody like Man Utd, the right wing-back, he managed 7 assists last season, which just highlights how key somebody like that is to their style of play. I mean, if it wasn't for someone like Trent doing what he did, people would be absolutely going bananas about Matt Doherty. Adama Traore also recorded the quickest top speed in the Premier League, often comes on late against tired opposition. That can be dangerous. Obviously, speed kills. He'll be coming down. Potentially, if they bring him on Matt Doherty's side, that means whoever's working alongside Luke Shaw on that left-hand side of United's play is going to have to deal with Adama Traore and Matt Doherty. So this is a game where United have to be on it on both aspects, defence and attack. For me, I think the one to watch for these has got to be Ruben Neves. The guy is just an absolute elite footballer. How they managed to get him in the Championship is ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. He's the man to watch for them. And I think the one to watch for Manchester United is Marcus Rashford. And I'll explain to you why Marcus Rashford is the one to watch. 2 shots on target last week, 2 goals, 9 accurate passes in the opposition half, fouled 3 times. And I think you're going to see a lot more of this as well. Going to exploit the space. Johnny will push up, Doherty will push up. And I'm not sure which one it is that's going to line up on the right-hand side alongside Doherty at the back, whether it's Bennett or Bolly. But the space that they leave, that is where I think Marcus Rashford's got to do his best operating. Paul Pogba needs to find the ball very much like he did for Marcus's second goal. And we've seen this countless times actually between Pogba and Marcus Rashford. Marcus is already starting to sprint when Pogba gets on the ball. Now, this is something that you won't pick up if you watch on TV too often. These runs are always happening from Marcus. And sometimes he just doesn't get found. Alexis Sanchez struggles to find him. Pogba, to be honest, struggles to find him at the right time. But when he has found him, it's created opportunities. Against a team like Wolves do, I can't even explain why they had so few possession last week against Leicester. I expect them to be in the 60s for possession against United on Monday night. I just don't know what happened to them against Leicester, why they were so poor. I would expect them to have way more possession. I would expect that back line to start creeping forward. And for me, that's where you exploit it. In between the right back and the right centre half, Marcus Rashford will find space in there. You've got to put the ball into the channel. You've got to stick it over the top. And if it's a foot race, nobody's catching him. Simple as that. Starting 11 wise for me, this is how I would like to go. Unchanged from last week, essentially. I don't think it'll line up like this. I think it'll probably line up more like 4-2-3-1 with McTominay and Pogba holding that 6 line. I'd expect Pereira to be on that right-hand side, even though he did play centrally. His involvement was more central on this pitch than on the wide right wing slot, and Jesse Lingard in the 10. The reason I've gone with Jesse Lingard over Juan Mata is because I expect us to be without possession. If this was a game, let's say this was Southampton away. Southampton are going to sit back. United are going to have 60% possession. And I would say we're going to struggle to break these down because they're going to sit so compact. They're going to sit so deep. Wolves are compact, but they're not impossible to break down. And because they're going to look to try and attack us, and because they attack us, that's why I think that United don't necessarily need someone with Juan Mata's unlocking ability. What we do need is someone who's going to cut around them, put them under pressure, and try and win the ball back in the right areas for us. If we pressurise their back 3 with our forward 3, we're going to yield something back from them. That's where I want us to win the ball. I want us to catch Bolly in possession. I want us to catch Neves as he's on this kind of line. I want us to catch Cody in possession. I want us to put pressure on the goalkeeper the way we put Chelsea's goalkeeper under pressure last week. That's what I want. The player who's going to do that more than any other is Jesse Lingard. I also think actually Sanchez could play that role, and I'm very interested to see how he does come back into the team when he does. But that's what I'm thinking there. Let me know in the comments your thoughts on this starting 11. Would you go with the 4-3-3 or would you go with 4-2-3-1? And I'm going to come to the Patreon group for some questions in a quick little second. Sign Neves in Jan, says Pulak. It's mad how he's not been linked with anybody, isn't it? Because I can't understand why no one else has been linked with him, because he's absolutely class. Chillspot says, if we get a Kante-like DM, we can dominate the league for the next 5 seasons. How about relax? A Kante midfielder would do great for us. Dominate? City's B team's better than our starting 11 at the moment, so how about chill on that one? How would we be without possession? Wolves are also a counter-attacking team. People mix up the fact that you can be a team that holds. Liverpool are a team that holds possession, but you would also call them a counter-attacking team. The counter-attacking moniker comes from the fact that you transition really fast from being in defence to being in attack. That you, as soon as you win back possession, it goes direct into the midfield and then direct into a channel or direct into the path of a forward who can break with it. It's about having a fast build-up play, or not even a build-up play, just getting it forward with the most speed that you can. United did that fantastically against Chelsea. We also ceded possession because they've got a better midfield than us. Wolves have a better midfield than us, so you've got to choose your battles. Allow them to have possession in certain areas, stay compact when you need to, and then hit them on the break. you can be a possession-based counter-attacking team because that is exactly what Liverpool are. I think that Wolves are a counter-attacking side, but they're also one that builds up play very slowly, and they are a team that you will see have higher possession rates. Certainly not Manchester United do. I think that's just the top and bottom of it. James to get 8+ goals this season, that'd really help out, wouldn't it? Saul says, I think Wolves are going to be controlling most of the game, so we're going to hit them on the counter if we expose them, which is unlikely going to be a tough test. It is going to be a good test. Stone says, Gomez is miles better than Lingtwat. Well, that's just rude, isn't it, mate? And do you know what? He probably is a better player in terms of what he's got on the ball, but football's about what you do off the ball as well, which is why Jesse Lingard's so well regarded by those who know what's going on. I think we need 2 strikers to be able to break their defence, so we play a 3-5-2 formation. Okay, so if you play a 3-5-2, what would you go with as your starting 11 for that? I think you bring in Axel Tuanzebe into that defence. I think that'd be quite interesting. But I also think it might be a mistake to try switching up to a back 3 at the moment when you've got a back 4 that's literally just learning how to play with each other. Allow them some time to bed in before you start throwing some options and some curveballs at them. We're probably going to play a back 4 for most of the season. Why would you just one game in just mix it up to try and throw a curveball into an opposition manager? Do we have the 3-man in midfield that you could play that you know are going to go toe-to-toe with Wolves? Do you want to go toe-to-toe with Wolves in midfield? Even if we played a midfield 3, would we be better than them in midfield? I'm not sure we would, to be honest. The perfect man for this job is fucking playing at Paris at the moment. We let him go. What about playing with 2 up front? I like playing with 2 up front. I wouldn't mind seeing a 4-4-2 diamond if we could do that. Basically, Wolves midfield is better than ours. Correct. I think Gully will match Wolves and go with a back 3, including 3 at the back, says AGC. Wouldn't be surprised. Running the channels between the centre-backs, says Football Fan. That is how you break it down. Wolves won't sell you plank. Well, we don't know that for sure, do we? Everyone will sell at some point. Wolves 2 United 2 says Yaha. Let me get into the Discord and see what's going on with the Patreon group. Is that today's? Not that one. I'm in the wrong question. Let me find him. Here we go, got him. Mighty Mike says, should I call in sick on Monday to watch the game at the bar or just leave early? Game starts at noon local time, California. Don't know. Is your boss a United fan? Are you going to get away with it if you do? Milan says, you say Wolves will have more possession, but they too are a counter-attacking side. Do you think we'll just give them the ball and make them break us down, or do we have to break them down and be careful not to concede on the counter? It's not always as simple as black and white, as we sort of just alluded to. Sometimes, yeah, a counter-attacking side. We've seen it with us. People have just gone, here you go. Give you the ball in certain areas and say, break us down. And sometimes you go, I don't know what to do. That's what tactics is all about, is to go, if we do this, what's the reaction going to be? What's the response going to be from the opposition? You find that out. You find out how to win the match. Thoughts on the third kit? Love it. Inferno, would I play Mata Gomez for this game to assist in breaking Wolves down? No, I don't think they're going to be too hard to break down. I think with the pace that we've got, I think we've got enough. Erlen says, do you think we'll be set up tactically like we were against Chelsea, or only do something different? I think the Chelsea game's a good blueprint for this. Not identical, but not a bad one either. Mel says, with a much stronger defence, do you think we'll be more solid against the likes of Jota and Jimenez breaking on the counter? I think Gomez could be a shout, as he's playing the final third is top. I think he plays against the smaller ones. I think this is too much of a risk in this game for him to try. Pastor Tap says, if we were to comfortably beat Wolves like 2-0, would it be fair to directly compare our previous trips and suggest we've improved, or is it too early in the season? Nope, get the ribbons out, we're winning 21. Dean, would a draw be a decent away result? You can almost call Wolves a top 6 side, can't you? And if you get a draw against a top 6 side, I would generally call that a good result for the visiting side. But they're not a top 6 side. So no, I think you have to go with the mentality that you've got to go and win this one. with Wolves being involved in European qualifiers, is that an advantage or disadvantage this early in the season? Will they be worn out already? Fucking hell, I hope not. Jesus, if like playing 4 more matches this early in the season does you in, I don't know if you've got it in you to be a pro footballer, or are they more prepared for competitive football? Well, they did rest a lot of players for it. So I don't think it'll have a massive amount of impact. I think you see the Europa League start to really get into people's legs by like Christmas. I think that's when it starts to take hold. This early, I think the only disruption that you can have if you look at what happened with Burnley is that sometimes it can come a bit early and the players haven't been ready yet and you've been flung into playing competitive games too quickly. Since you've been saying the whole week that we will play on the counter, do I think Ollie will have Marcus in a cheating position on the left-hand side like he was in the first half against Chelsea, or will he have Marcus doing extra work tracking back like in the second half? It's going to be a little bit of both because you do have to watch Matt Doherty. You should have the numerical advantage in our back line. It depends how... When someone else plays 3 at the back, they're sacrificing either a midfielder or a forward to do that. So you have to see where we're going to look better, and if we can release Marcus and make them worry about him and maybe pin Matt Doherty back a little bit and prevent him attacking down against Luke Shaw, then that's probably a good thing for us. Do we go punch for punch, or do we tweak our tactics as we lost twice last time and couldn't really break them down? They'll probably do to us what we did to Chelsea. The problem is, how can we adapt and beat them, says A36 Med. No, we don't go punch for punch. I think we treat it very much like we treated the Chelsea game. Carl says, do you think you're losing Matter or Angel to find space? Does anyone really think it's going to go down as much as... like a lot of you are saying the same sort of things in terms of like, the roles of breaking Wolves down. I think we'll be okay, you know. I expect us to create way more chances than we've created previously. Maybe I'm wrong. Fiscal Cliff, why was there little to no talk about United going after Ruben Neves? I mean, nobody going after Ruben Neves, was there? The man is exactly the type of player to fit the role we need right now. He controls the ball, reads the game well, keeps possession, great for a tackle. Is there a reason we didn't go after him? No idea. No idea why Real Madrid didn't go after him. If the way they're going after Paul Pogba. For the money they're going for Pogba, you'd probably get Neves, you'd imagine, for about 60 mil, surely, which would leave you a load more money to spend than everyone else. Abraham, should Dan James start or his super sub role more like this season? I hope it's the super sub role. Decryption, who do you think will go into this match more confident, Wolves or United? I'm going to be in Manchester. Is a good pub to watch the game. Nag's Head's usually a good pub to go. On Jackson's Road, just off Deansgate. Big United pub. In terms of more confident, it's got to be United. I understand that Wolves might have a little bit of confidence for playing United after being so successful against us recently. But last week wasn't a great performance from them. It was a great performance from United. I think that carries. I don't think people are too mithered about what happened in the past, and I think that we'd be more bothered about where we're at right now, and I think we're all right. Wolves 0, United 5, says Elir. Finlay says, I have to play a 4-4-2 diamond with Pogba high as we need the creativity and he's too slow on the ball at the back. He's slow in thought, isn't he? He's not slow when it comes to running, but he is slow in thought. Greenwood would be a good gamble to start. Ooh. Again, I think he's off the bench. Doherty's injured, apparently. Bonus. Has Gomez any chance of starting league games this season? Yeah, I think he does, to be honest. But I think it's also going to come off... the good performances that he's going to be playing in the leasing.com EFL Cup and also the Europa League, which I do expect him to feature in. Craig Vincent says, you mentioned Gomez was really impressive with the press on pre-season. Would I put him in a game like this? Not yet. But I would have my eye on what can he do later on in the season. That's what I'm really intrigued about. Where does Gomez take his game to the next level and become a bit of a force to be reckoned with in terms of the first team? There's probably also some political bullshit going on as well, trying to get him to sign his contract before they really start committing to giving him games. Sometimes you have to give him some games to give him the incentive to sign. So there's all sorts of cloak and dagger shit probably going on at the moment. One thing's for sure, if he goes on a free somewhere and he gets a decent club, he will absolutely smash it. So United can't allow him to do that because he's mint. Cody and Martina were the only first choice players that played for Wolves last night. Yep, yeah. So they massively rotated. I wouldn't have thought they're going to be too bothered by the Europa League game, and obviously it's Monday the game, so they've got plenty of rest in between. Maguire coming out will help. Yes, I think that definitely will help. I also think Maguire from set pieces, because United just been so shit from set pieces. I don't even get excited when we get a corner. Why am I excited when we get a corner? We're doing nothing with them. Righty, thank you guys for watching me. Tune in to Stretford Paddock on Monday for the game, because we'll be doing a watch along over there. If you've not subscribed, over 20,000 have in just a couple of months. So come and join the party. It's going great guns over there, and we'll see you in the next one. Laters.